Now, I've just took a massive risk buying this Mercedes GLA from Copart, which seems to be abandoned from its previous repair. You can see the damage is on the rear quarter, which has had a partial repair. All of the windows are missing from the car, and on the passenger side, the rear quarter is quite heavily pushed in. And now the inside of the car is just filled with parts where the car's been stripped and not been put back together. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take everything out of the car and see what's actually inside, because I don't know what's missing and what isn't. And it is a 2019 plate and it's only got 30,000 miles, so this is quite a good example of a Mercedes GLA. It's a low mileage. It seems to be alright other than the damage that I can see on the rear quarters, but I'm not really going to know until we dig a bit further. But if I just put the key in the car and I turn the ignition on, this window has been wrapped up and the window doesn't go up and down. So my assumption here, because the windscreen's missing and this door glass is missing, I believe this has been subject to some sort of vandalism because somebody smashed this window. But yeah, I'm going to get all this stuff out now and see what's actually missing. So to open the boot, it was locked, so I've actually had to grab inside and the button is in here. If you listen, when I press it, it is unlocked on the boot. You can see the glass here is smashed, so my theory is that someone's came along and smashed all these windows because the window's missing out of the rear driver's door, the front driver's door, and the boot lid, so I think they've all been smashed. It might have been vandalised when it was in the body shop and then that's why it's ended up in Copart, I don't know. But I'm going to take everything out now and see what I've got. So, got a parcel shelf. Got the spoiler for the boot lid. I think what I might do, honestly, because I can't find anywhere to sell me this rear glass, so I think I'm just going to buy a complete boot lid with the glass, because I'm getting quoted like £300, £400 just for the glass, when I can get a boot lid that hasn't been ripped apart for £200. Maybe I'll even be able to sell this boot lid as well. Ooh, there's a light. That is broken pretty bad, wow. You can see it's all smashed up. Like, not only the lens is smashed, but the inside of the light is smashed as well. A bit of sound deadening. I don't know what this is. This is one of the trims for the boot lid. I don't know what this is. I think this is for the underfloor and the boot. Get the boot carpet out. I think I'm gonna just give this car a clean. What's handy, to be fair, is the body shop that's had this, they've kept all the bolts. So at least I've got all the bolts and stuff. This is the seal for the rear passenger door, because that was missing as well. I think I've got pretty lucky here because I think absolutely everything is actually inside the car, which I can't complain about. It's going to make my life a lot easier. Now, there is a lot of stuff back here as well, so let's just see. This is the boot floor. We've also got more trims for the boot lid. I don't understand why they've fully stripped down the boot lid in the way that they have. Like, they've completely took it apart more than they should have. Scuttle panel. This is something that sits underneath the boot. Another panel for the boot. Another panel for the boot lid. Now we've got yeah, literally everything's in here. Thank God. More trims for the boot. This is the window regulator for the passenger door. More trims for the boot. Yes. These are actually quite expensive. These are like £40 each. So I'm glad they're in there. These are the windscreen trims. They run down like each side of your windscreen. We've also got the wipers. What else have we got? We've even got the seal for the scuttle panel as well. What is this? That's the trim for the boot. Happy days. And the door card as well. And in the front seat as well, I've got pretty lucky here. So, oh, the reg plate's in there. I just ordered a reg plate. Well, that's annoying. There's literally everything in this car. The handles for the door, and here are the rest of the lights. So, oh, that's destroyed as well. These are really expensive. They're like £180 each. And I need one for both sides because they're both broke. But luckily, we do have both of the lights for the boot lid, and they both look fine. So that's a bonus. Now you can see the car is an absolute state. I think I'm going to clean it out first and just try and get all of the rubbish out of here, because it is an absolute mess. Ugh. Right, now that's everything out of the boot. You can see they've fully stripped this door out. I'm not entirely sure why they've done that. I guess it's because they've needed to do a repair here on the door. I think I'm going to fit this door back up. I'm going to clean the interior out and then just bin everything that I don't need from all these pile of parts that's on the floor. Probably fit as much of the car back together as I can, but I'm going to need to leave this stripped probably because the damage to the rear quarter, obviously we're going to need to try access that from the inside. So all of this is probably going to need to stay stripped. I've removed the rear seat because it's an absolute mess in here, so I'm just going to hoover it all out just to give it a good clean.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, that's got me.
Jeez, Baldy. New boot lid going on.
No, would have been an angry boy for that. No, because they're already having repairs done. How long? Hey, look. Lift your side up, look, ready for engine holes.
Fitted the new boot lid up and I've wired all of the wires to where they should go. Now I just need to put the rear lights in and then I can put all the trims back in the boot lid. And then on this side, I need to completely fit the door up and fit the door glass. I do have the glass, so I can do that. On that rear door, I need to fit that quarter glass, so I need to take that door cut off. And on the driver's door, I need to fit that window glass as well. So I'm going to take all the 3 door cards off so I can fit all those glass. Right, so I've got this quarter glass fully installed. That was quite easy to change. There's just a T30 screw through this rubber bung here. I need to put that back on there actually. So yeah, I just need to put that door card back on now and that's that door sorted. This door, I've just installed the little bracket for the handle. You can see there, that black bracket. And now I need to fully install the door mechanism and the window glass and then put all the trims on. I do also need to put the handle in as well. So I'm going to get that done now. And then on the front door, I just need to change the glass. So this one's going to be the hardest, but still all pretty straightforward.
When you're replacing a smashed window, it's quite annoying because all of the broken glass falls to the bottom of the door, and when you open and close the door, if you don't hoover all of this out, you can hear it rattling around in the door. So I had to hoover all of that out, install the new window, and then if you remember at the start of the video, the rear quarter was quite heavily pushed in, as you can see here, and Connor's just pulled most of this dent out, which you can see here, by accessing it through the petrol flap hole, and then just pin pulling it all out as well. And that was as much as it would come out, and then it just needed a little bit of filler just to smoothen out all the surfaces. That little divot couldn't really be pulled out anymore because the metal's so thin there. If you were to straighten it out anymore, it would have started to split. So using that little bit of filler was the better option. And you can see here how smooth it is after you sanded it, and it looks pretty good. The black spray which they've sprayed over the primer is called a guide coat, and this is so when they sand the primer they know where they have and haven't sanded, because the part where they have sanded won't be black anymore, so it just gives you sort of a guide. And now since the rear quarter has been repaired and we don't need access to that panel anymore, I could start to assemble all of the boot back together. So that's the boot floor, the carpets for the walls, the rear seats, the parcel shelf, the boot lid trims, and then also the little clips and stuff which are in there as well. And once all of that was done, the last thing left to repair was the front bumper. There's this little hole there. And this is actually from a previous repair where somebody has fitted a bumper with parking sensor holes, and this car doesn't have parking sensors, so they filled over the holes and they've just not done a very good job of it, and that's broken away. So I'm gonna have to fill this properly. You can see it here where the parking sensor bracket is. They've just filled it with something, and then I guess on the other side they would have filled over it and painted over it, and then this one's just completely broken away. So what I do is I cut a bit of plastic out from a spare bumper, so it's the same type of plastic, and I melt this together onto the plastic from the bumper. So I sort of melt the bumper and the plastic onto the bumper so it all fuses together, and then I also put some staples in it as well. But you can see here, this is the car all painted in the spray booth, the bumper, the rear quarters, and also that rear driver's door. And then once all of the car was painted, the last thing to do was fit all of the door trims back together and the rear lights back together, which is what I'm doing here. On the inside of the car, the last thing that I need to replace is this rain sensor, which sits just behind the rear view mirror there. And you can see this one's broke in half because when they've removed the windscreen, they must have just ripped that out. And this is what it's supposed to look like. You can see, compared to this one,
it's just ripped in half. So I'm going to install this now, and then I can put the trim back around the sun visor, this trim, and then that should be it for the interior. And the last thing I've got to do is install that wing mirror cap and glass. So there we go. There's the rain sensor back in, the trim back in, and the buttons back in. And I don't think I've actually showed the interior yet. So I will show you that it is a bit dirty, but I've got the door cards reinstalled on all the doors with the window glass. And in the interior, on the rear, I've installed the seat bench, the rear seats, and the rear lights. And then I've also completely built the boot back up as well. It just needs a good interior valet now because it is minging in here. It's really dusty and dirty. So I'm going to get the car cleaned, and then once I've done the wing mirror, that's pretty much it. You can see the wing mirror is still broken, so I've got a new cap. We just need to paint that gloss black, and I've got the mirror glass in there. But and I need to reinstall this trim. So I'm going to get those last bits done, and then that's going to be it for this car. It's a nice little easy repair, this one. This is the Mercedes GLA fully completed, and you can see it looks absolutely perfect now compared to how it did at the start of the video. I'll insert some clips of what it looked like before, with the windscreen removed, the windows removed out of the doors. It honestly looked a mess, and now it's back on the road just like any other car, as it should be. And I'll show you around the rear end as well, because all the windows were stripped out of the rear as well. The lights were missing, the boot lid was a mess. So we've replaced the boot lid, all the glasses back in, and it looks a world of a difference. I'm really happy with how this car turned out, and I did actually make a really good profit on this car. It was a really good flip, this one. And I'll show you in the boot as well. Everything is back in the boot. If you remember, it was all stripped out, but luckily everything was kept in the car. So I had a really easy time with this car because all the parts were in here, and it didn't really cost much at all to repair because there wasn't many things I had to buy. I had to buy the tail lights, the tailgate, and I think that was it. Other than the paint, I don't really think there was many other costs. Obviously there would have been bits here and there. I might insert some things on the screen, but overall it was a very easy repair. So I'm not going to share the profit that I made on this car. I know that all the other YouTubers do kind of share the profit that they make on the cars, but I just don't really want that attention on me right now, given what happened with the M4. I feel like it's best to just keep all of that private for now. So I'm not going to share the profit that I made, but it was a really healthy profit that I made on this car. For the work that I had to do, it really was not much, and it was a nice little chunk of money. So this was a really good flip. I am also raffling off one of my cars. It's a BMW 2 Series. I'll leave the link to that raffle in the description. The tickets are only £2.50, and it ends, I think, sometime next week. And I've not sold too many tickets, so the odds for that one are pretty good. And all of the money that I make from that is going to go towards fixing my M4, which was set on fire. And speaking of the M4, I'm going to make an update video, hopefully this weekend, but if not, maybe sometime next week, just updating you on the current state of the car, what I'm doing to fix it, and sort of what's going on. So all those questions will be answered in that video, hopefully this weekend or next week. So if you've enjoyed watching this video and you've made it all the way to the end, thank you very much. And if you've got any sort of pointers of what I can improve on the videos and what you do like and you don't like, just leave it in the comments. Any constructive criticism would be greatly appreciated, since I've only just started making the videos. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.